Welcome, my viewers, those who are watching me at home and at different places. This is KUTV, Elim Live. I will take you through social studies and I hope you are going to enjoy. My name is Mr. Chris Omondi from Koradini Catholic School. Thank you. So today, I'm going to take you through social studies and majorly I'll dwell on physical features. So you have come across that word physical features not once or twice, but several occasions. So physical features, I'll first to tell you what a physical feature is, then the components that we are going to discuss upon. Then if the time allows, I'm also going to take you through how these physical features is important to human beings and also how important they are to us. And I'm also going to give you the details, the formation and the places where they are found. So the first thing, I'll say that physical features, they are natural things which exist in their natural form and they were created by God. So the first one that we are going to discuss, which are the main, we have the plateaus, we have the basins, we have the valley, we have the swamp, number 5 lakes, we have the rivers, mountains and highlands, then lastly we have plains. So those are the parts which we are going to discuss in detail, and if the time allows, of course we are going to conclude and I'll give you the questions and how it has been coming in KCP. So stay tuned and get connected. If possible, you can have a piece of paper and also a pen. Thank you. Now, I've given you the detail about it. So the first physical feature that we are going to discuss, it is called the plateau. So what is a plateau, learners? A plateau, it is a slightly raised flatland. A slightly raised flatland which has a top, a flat on the top. So let me take you back there. Then the first part that we are going to discuss, of course, I said is a plateau. Then what is it? It is a high area which is generally flat on the top. They are made up of very old and hard rocks and they are highly generally on the ground. They lie between 400 to 2,600 meters above the sea level. They have residual hills which are also called the inselbergs. They have the valleys, and of course some of the valleys are dry, some of them are wet because they have water in it. They are separated by short steep slopes which are known as scarps or escarpment. I hope that is a brief explanation about the plateaus. Then maybe let me draw for you what a plateau is. So for you to understand what a plateau is, I want to draw a plateau. It is this manner. So that one, it is a slightly raised, then on top it is flat. So the top part here is what we call the plateau. The top part is what we call the plateau. So the plateau, I said, is a slightly raised flatland. I hope that is the picture that I've given you. So if you are there and you are taking some few notes, then that is the diagram and have that a vivid picture as we proceed on. Then I'll also give you where are these plateaus found. I'll give you this plateau. They are found in different parts of Kenya and they are also found in different parts of Africa, my learners. So this, I'm going to, let me clean this so that you can be able to understand better. So this, the plateaus, one, we have the Fort Ajalon, which is found in Guinea. Plateau number 1, we have the Fort-Ajalon found in Guinea. We have the Bi-Plateau in Angola. We have the Nyika Plateau in East Africa, which is also called the Eastern Africa. There is a difference between the East Africa and Eastern Africa. Eastern Africa has a total, maybe let me give you an explanation between East and Eastern. The East Africa it was formerly made up of the 3 countries, that is Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Then the Eastern Africa, it is made up of a total of 11 countries. How many are they? We have Kenya all the way to the smallest country, which is called the Djibouti. So Djibouti and Eritrea, those are also part of the country that form the Eastern Africa. And the largest country in the Eastern Africa, my learners, is what you call Sudan. So the newest, which has got independence just the recent year, it is called the South Sudan. And the proposed capital city is called Ramshel, and the current capital city is called Juba. So let us now go to our point of interest. The first one I said is called Fort-Ajalon in Guinea. The second one, the Bi-Plateau in Angola. The third one is Nyika Plateau in East Africa. Then lastly, we have the Jos Plateau in Nigeria. Now, those are the major plateaus which we have. Maybe let me draw the map of Africa. I want to sketch the map of Africa. Then lastly, after sketching the map of Africa, I'll also give you where are they found. So let me try to sketch the map of Africa so that you can be able to know. So the map of Africa, the first one, let me sketch it. It is not up to scale. I'm just trying to sketch it. I'm just trying to sketch so that you can be able to know this map. You can be able to understand the map of Africa. So that is a sketch of the map of Africa. Then we have different places. We have different places. This one is what we call the Red Sea. This part is what we call the Red Sea. The part marked R is what we call the Red Sea. Then we have the topmost part here is what we call the Mediterranean Sea. The part marked M, the Mediterranean Sea. Then we also have different areas where I want you to understand. Then down here we have what we call the Madagascar. Madagascar is an island, which is the largest island. Maybe let me give it to be X. Let me give it to be X. That is Madagascar. Madagascar is there. Then we have another part. We have another part which I want to mention them. The Fort-Ajalon in Guinea. Where do we have the Guinea? It is around here. The Fort-Ajalon. This part, Fort-Ajalon in Guinea, around that part. Then we have the Bi-Plateau in Angola. Angola is in the central part. Angola is around here. It is called the Bi-Plateau in Angola. The part marked N, it is the Bi-Plateau in Angola. Maybe the part marked W, the part marked W is the Fort-Ajalon in Guinea. We have the Nyika Plateau in Eastern Africa. The Eastern Africa is here. This is the Nyika Plateau. Nyika Plateau is around this part. The part marked X. The part marked X, my learners. The part marked X is the Nyika Plateau. Then we have the Jos Plateau in Nigeria. Nigeria is in western part. Nigeria is around here. That is where we have the Jos Plateau in Nigeria. Maybe let me give it to J. Let me give it to J. So W is Fort-Ajalon in Guinea. X is Jos Plateau in, that's J is Jos Plateau in Nigeria. Then we have the Nyika Plateau is X. And then we have N is what you call the Bi-Plateau in Angola. So which one of the following is the plateau which is found in the West Africa? Of course, we have the Bi-Plateau. No, we have the Fort-Ajalon in Guinea, and we have another one, the Jos Plateau in Nigeria. So that is a summary of what you expect to understand in detail when you are told to find or when you are told to to answer questions pertaining the plateaus. Then I want to explain this. At times, you can be asked what are the main features which is found in a plateau. The main features which is found in the plateau, they are called the inselbergs, or these are the isolated hills or mountains which are found in the plateau. They are called the inselbergs. Now that is the feature which is found in the plateau. You can also find the birchen dunes, we can find the safe dunes, we can find the sand dunes. Those are some of the features which you expect to find in a plateau when you are asked any question pertaining that part. Then let us now proceed on and go to the next part, which I want you to let me clean this. Sorry, let me clean with a pen. Let me clean it. That is the rubber. Let me erase all so that we can move to the next part. Thank you. Now, we go to the basins. We go to the basins. There are broad, shallow depression. Most prominent ones are the Congo Basin, the Oljuf Basin, the Sudan Basins, the Chad Basins, the Kalahari, the Danakil depressions. And then we have other small, the Qatar in Egypt, Lake Victoria, and also the Kyoga Basins. So the lowest depression is in Danakil. That is the lowest depression, the Danakil, which is found in Ethiopia. So I hope if you are writing, if you are following, that is the most prominent basins we have in Africa. The Kalahari, which is here, the Kalahari, which is here, my learners, Kalahari is here, you can see it. Kalahari is found in a place called Botswana. Kalahari is found in 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 Botswana. So that one where the Kalahari is. Then we have the Chad in Chad, Sudan in Sudan, El Jof in Senegal. Then we have another one which is called the Congo in Congo. So the Kalahari, maybe you don't know the location of Botswana. Let me try to draw and give you where the Botswana is. I'll have to sketch here the map of Africa still. I'll sketch here the map of Africa. That is in a sketch form, the map of Africa. Don't worry. I want to locate. So Botswana is at this part. That is where the Botswana is. So when they talk about the Kalahari, it is where maybe the part marked M. That is where the Kalahari basin is. So the basins, in short, they are shallow depression. So the lowest part in Africa at large, it is at a place called Danakil in Ethiopia. And the highest part expected to be around Kilimanjaro. So that is the highest peak around Kilimanjaro, which is found in Tanzania. So I hope that one is well understood, my learners. So we are going to move on, but if you have get that one, it is good. So I've said that we have the basins, which are shallow depression. The lowest part is found in Ethiopia, and the highest part is around Kilimanjaro. Some of them are Congo, El Jof, Sudan, Chad, Kalahari, Danakil depression, and other small depression like Lake Victoria is also a basin because it is a shallow which is filled with water. We have the Qatar in Egypt, and we have the Danakil. So let us proceed to the next part, which is called the valleys. The valleys, maybe before I explain about that, I'll try to explain about what valleys is. My dear learners, what do you mean by the word valleys? The valleys, you have heard about that not once or twice, but several occasions. The valleys, these are shallow depression at a times which is filled with water and with sides, and those sides are what we call the escarpments. Then the shallow part can as well be filled with water, or it can be dry. The valleys which we know in Africa is called the Great Rift Valley. It runs from a place called Beira in Mozambique all the way to Alexandria in Egypt. Or we can say it starts from Alexandria in Egypt on the northern part, and then it goes into Beira in Mozambique. That is what we call the valleys. And we have different branches of the valleys. As it comes down, it is dividing into different branches. One, we have the Malawi branch, we have the eastern branch, we have the western branch, and we have what we call the Ethiopian branch. All those ones are part of the branch of the Great Rift Valley. It covers a square kilometer of, it covers the kilometer of 5,600. The lowest part being at 30 kilometers and the highest part being at 100. I hope that is what we are going to discuss. Then, let us see. One, we have the longest depression on the earth, which is called the valley. That is one. Two, the world's biggest and most famous is the Great Rift Valley. It covers a distance of 5,600 kilometers. That is what I said earlier. The Great Rift Valley is divided into 4 sections. I've mentioned them. Then it runs where? From a place called Beira in Mozambique. Then where does it end? It ends at a place called Alexandria in Egypt on the northern part all the way to the southern part. Then the narrow part is about 30 kilometers and the wider part is about 100 kilometers. There are hills, mountains, and other beautiful sceneries which are found in the valley. We have other mountain which is called the Mount Longonot, Mount Suswa, Mount Rwenzori. Some rivers which flows on them, they are Kerio, Ewaso Nyiro, and Semelek. Then we have the Ethiopian Rift Valley, we have the eastern branch, the western branch, and the Malawi branch. So as we move on, we're also going to see that the Ethiopian branch, it begins from a place called the Red Sea and it extends down to Lake Turkana. Then the eastern branch, class, the eastern branch begins from Lake Turkana through down to Tanzania. Then the western branch starts from Lake Rukwa in Tanzania, runs along the borders of Uganda and DRC to South Africa, Sudan, which borders Lake Tanganyika, Kivu, George, Albert, Edward, which are found in this branch. Maybe you don't know those, where are those lakes found? Once you hear the names of the people, I mostly tell my learners that the ones you hear about the names of people like George, Albert, Edward, those are the name of lakes which are found in Uganda. So those ones you come across such like names, they know they are the lakes which are found in the western branch, but on which part? In the part of the Uganda, which is also called the western branch. Then we have the Malawi Rift Valley. It is a continuous on the eastern branch. It's a continuation on the eastern branch. It starts from Lake Malawi in Malawi, then it ends at Beira in Mozambique. Then rivers, we have Luangwa in Zambia, we have Urema through Mozambique. All of them are found there. So maybe let me give you what you don't know or what you don't understand about this Rift Valley. Now, I said that the Great Rift Valley, it is one of the most famous. Now, inside the Great Rift Valley, we have mountains, we have rivers, we have lakes, and we have other features. Of course, you expect forest, and you don't expect sea. Of course, a sea is not there, lakes are there. Now, on this part, I want you to get this, that most of the rivers which are found on the floor of the Rift Valley, it originates from the mountains within. We have Ewaso Nyiro, which is found there. We have the Kerio, which is also part of the rivers that it's within that part. But now the most important part for you to know, what are the features which is found on the floor and what are the features which is found on the sides. On the sides are the mountains which are called the block mountains. But on the floor, they are volcanic mountains. So the block mountains forms what you call the escarpments. Then these escarpments, they are part in which they are slightly raised and they form the sides. So the formations, the Rift Valley was formed through the process called faulting process. Faulting and sinking, of course. That is the process in which the Great Rift Valley was formed. So you have known where does it begins, where does it ends, the branches, what are the features which are found inside. I've said the features inside, we have the river, we have the lakes, we have the mountains. And some of the mountains I've mentioned. We have Mount Longonot, we have Mount Suswa, and the block mountains expect the Aberdare, expect Nyandarua, and expect the Mau. So Mau forms the escarpments of the Rift Valley, which is the eastern branch. So in the eastern branch is a branch which is found in Kenya and is a continuation of the Malawi branch, and that is the branch which you expect to find the block mountains such as the Mau, such as Aberdare, such as Nyandarua. Now, a question can as well come, because I've also received a question here asking from Lewis. Lewis, I'll answer you live that what are the features which is found on the floor of the Rift Valley? Of course, you already answered. The block, the volcanic mountain. Example, Mount Suswa. Another one, Mount Longonot. What are the features which is found on the sides? The sides is the block mountain. Example, Aberdare and Mau. We have also Nyandarua. Now, let me give you the diagram so that you can be able to understand better. Let me draw, maybe let me draw down here. So I want to sketch the map of Kenya. I want to sketch the map of Kenya, class, so that you can be able to know. I want to sketch the map of Kenya so that you can be able to know. So the map of Kenya, let me start at that point. So that one is the map of Kenya. Then this one is the coastal part all the way to that. So this coastal part, let me try. This is the coastal region, that one, the coastal region. Then on top here we have the lake which is called Lake Turkana. Then we have Lake Victoria, but I'm drawing this, although Lake Victoria is not part of the Rift Valley. Lake Turkana is the part of the Rift Valley, is found within the Rift Valley. So it extends and it passes all the way. This one, it goes up to down there. So that one is the Great Rift Valley. It runs from a place called Alexandria and it extends downwards. Now we have the lakes which is found inside here, but the lakes which are found inside here, we have Turkana, Baringo, Bogoria, Naivasha, Nakuru, Elementaita, Magadi, Malawi, Tanganyika, all the way to Edward, George, Albert in Uganda. But now I want you to understand this, that we have here on the escarpments or on the sides, the escarpments are just called the sides of the Rift Valley. On the sides, we have this part and we have on this part. On the other part, which is found on the western part, is called the Mau. And on the eastern part is called Aberdare. So there are two escarpment, or there are two block mountains. We have this one which is called the Mau M, and then the A is called the Aberdare Ranges. So those ones forms the part of the Great Rift Valley, or the Rift Valley which is found in Kenya. Sorry. Then there is also something that I want you to understand, that the main tourist attraction within the Rift Valley is called the beautiful sceneries. And of course, there are so many stones, there are so many blocks. you'll find that some of the rivers are dry, they don't flow. Some of the lakes are salty, and the majority of the lakes, of course, they are very salty. So Turkana is a freshwater lake, Bogoria is a saltwater lake, Nakuru is a saltwater lake. We have Lake Naivasha is a freshwater lake, and as you go on all the way up to down there. So we have the freshwater lakes, which is found within the Great Rift Valley, and the saltwater lakes, which is also found within the Rift Valley. So I of course, you are now with me, and of course, you are following the lesson keenly. If you have a question, you can as well bring the question so that we can answer live here in KUTV. Now, if there is any part that you don't understand about the Rift Valley, the branches, the features which is found, and also you can also maybe ask why is the Rift Valley very dry? One of the major reasons why the Rift Valley, when I talk about the Rift Valley, I'm meaning the branch which is in Kenya. Why is it dry? The main reasons why it is dry, it is because of the two escarpment. And those two escarpment, my learners or my viewers, the two escarpment, one is the Mau and another one is the Aberdare. We also have on the sides of the Aberdare, we have the Nyandarua ranges. So those are examples of the block mountain. We can go on. So I'll not trap because maybe for a reference, I'll have to go on with that one. So let us move on to the next part, which is called the Highlands and Mountains. Highlands and Mountains. Number 4, Highlands and Mountains, area lying above 2,600 meters from the mountains are called highlands. They are called mountains, sorry. There are 4 types of mountains. We have the block mountain, we have the volcanic mountain, we have the fold mountain, and we have the residual mountain. So those are the main types of mountain we have in Africa. The block mountains, these are the types of mountain that are mostly formed due to what you call uplifting. The block mountain, they are formed through what you call faulting and uplifting. Then volcanic mountain, they are formed through which process? They are formed through the process called the volcanicity. Then we have the fold mountain. This is the mountain that maybe let me explain deep about this. Most of the fold mountains, they are found at the edges of the continent. They are found at the edges of the continents. And there are so many theories that explain the formation of the fold mountains. But what we just know that the fold mountain is formed through what we call the force. And this force is called the compressional force. So that brings sedimentary rocks together. Then once the rock it's brought together, it tries to shrink, and then it leads into that formation. And of course, there are so many theories that try to explain the formation of a fold mountain. Then number 2, they are majorly found at the edges of the continent. That is, I hope it is well understood and very clear with you. Now, let me try to sketch out. But residual mountain, maybe before that, residual mountain, these are the types of mountain that are formed by erosion. They are isolated and the sides erodes. The sides erodes. Once the side erodes, it leaves an isolated hills or isolated mountains in a place. Such like mountains are called residual. Examples of the residual mountains you can mention. I'm going to take you through that, and of course you're also going to understand better. But they are isolated and formed through the erosion. Most of them are volcanic. They were formerly formed through the process called volcanicity. Now let me maybe sketch the map of Kenya first, or the map of Africa. Then I'll have to identify areas where we have the fold mountain. That's the key part. And one thing also I want you to understand that most of the volcanic mountains are found in where? They are found in Africa, and that is the main mountains, or the most mountains that are found in Africa are formed through the process called volcanicity. So let me sketch here examples of a mountain. Maybe this space will be enough. I want to sketch the map of Africa. Let me sketch the map of Africa very fast. I hope you are following the map of Africa. So that map of Africa, on this top part, it is the Red Sea, R, the Red Sea. Then we have the Mediterranean, which is on top here, M. So that part, we have also Madagascar. Remember, Madagascar was colonized by France. So we have this part of the Madagascar, maybe is divided into two. We have this part, we have the savanna, and we have the what you call the rainforest, which is called the equatorial. Equatorial is on this side, and then you have the savanna on the topmost part. So that is what you call the Madagascar. It's the largest island in Africa. But my main intention is to show you where do we have the fold mountain. The fold mountain, the first fold mountain is called the Atlas. Atlas is found in Morocco. Morocco is around this part. Maybe I'll use letters. Let me use number 1. That is number 1, where we have the Atlas. Then we have another one which is called the Aquapim in Ghana. Ghana is around this part. I'll use number 2. Number 2. It is called this one is called Aquapim in Ghana. Then we have another one which is called the Table Mountain. The Table Mountain is here in South Africa. Let me use number 3. Then we have the Drakensberg. The Drakensberg is around here. It covers the part of Lesotho, Swaziland, and all the way to South Africa. Let me use the part marked, maybe let me use 4. Then we have another one which is called the Cape. The Cape Range is down here. Let me use the part marked 5, the letter 5. So number 1, we have Atlas. That is the area. At times they can ask you the specific place where these mountains are found. So of course the features are as labeled on my board there. So number 1 is the Atlas. Number 2 is Aquapim. Atlas is in Morocco. Aquapim is in Ghana. Ghana is a country which is found in West. Morocco is the northern part. Then we have the Table Mountain, the Cape Range, and the Drakensberg. They are all found in South Africa. And if you check very well, you'll find that most of them are found at the edges of the continent. They are formed through the process called folding. And the force involved is what we call the comprehensional force. Thank you. Then we have the volcanic mountains. My learners, let me shortly explain about the volcanic mountains. Volcanic mountains, these are the types of mountains that are mostly or mainly found in Africa. Then point 2, that volcanic mountains, they are formed through the process called volcanicity. Then another point that you ought to understand better is that volcanic mountains, they are mostly high. They are the highest mountain in Africa. And the leading, of course, is called the Kilimanjaro, which is found in Tanzania. So for those who don't know where Mount Kilimanjaro is, let me sketch here the map of Kenya. I'll have to sketch the map of Kenya. I'm doing this so that you can be able to understand the specific place where these mountains are. So this part, the part marked O, that is where we have Mount Kilimanjaro. It is just almost adjacent to Kenya boundary on the southern part. But we have here also another volcanic mountain which is called Mount Elgon, the part marked Q. Then we also have another part, maybe when I draw this map of Uganda, we have this part, the boundary between Congo, and Uganda. We have also another mountain which is called Mount Rwenzori. Although Rwenzori is not a volcanic mountain, it is a block mountain, but it is one of the second highest mountain in Africa. So this one is called Mount Rwenzori. Let me label it with R. So that one are the mountains which we expect. And of course, once they ask you the mountains on the boundary, you are going to talk about Rwenzori, you are going to talk about Mount Elgon. But Kilimanjaro, it's not just exactly to the boundary, but almost. But is entirely found in Tanzania. 2, it is the highest. 3, it's formed through the process called volcanicity. So I hope you are getting that one. And if you are told to answer questions, my learner now, Lewis, you can be able to get your answer correctly. I've answered in terms of explanation. You asked a question, where do we have Mount Rwenzori? You can now see Rwenzori is found in the boundary between Congo and Uganda, and is the part marked R. It was formed through the process called faulting and uplifting, because it is a block mountain. Now, I've deeply explained about the basin, I've explained about the plateaus, I've explained about the Great Rift Valley, which runs from Beira in Mozambique all the way to Alexandria in Egypt. So if you have any question, or you have a question that seems to challenge you, you can as well send to us through the KUTV channels, or you can send to our number which is being portrayed on the screen, so that you can arrest or answer your question effectively. You can also ask the question after the lesson. The questions are going to be answered the next time I appear on the screen. Thank you. So we are going to move to the next part. My viewers. And the next part, it is about maybe let me take you through about the examples of these mountains, about the examples of these mountains, the highlands. We have the Atlas in Morocco, that is what I said that. We have the Ethiopian highlands, we have the Adamawa highlands, which is found in Cameroon. It is in West Africa. We have the Drakensberg and the Cape Ranges in South Africa. We have the Guinea highlands, is found in Guinea. And I said Mount Kilimanjaro is the highest mountain in Africa, which has the height of 5,895 meters above the sea level. It's followed by Mount Kenya with 5,199, then Rwenzori 5,109. So you can see that height of especially of volcanic mountains. Mount Kenya is a volcanic, Mount Kilimanjaro is a volcanic, but Mount Rwenzori is the highest non-volcanic mountain in Eastern Africa. The highest non-volcanic mountain, because it's almost second to Mount Kenya. And of course, those 3 mountains that I've mentioned, they have snow. Which one of the following are the snow-capped mountain in Africa? Rwenzori, Mount Kenya, Mount Kilimanjaro. Javan, you have get your answer correctly for that matter. Now, let us proceed on and go to the next part. Of course, that is just an extended work of what we have discussed. Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Kenya in Kenya, Mount Elgon between the boundary of Kenya and Uganda, Cameroon in Cameroon. We have Gimbala in Sudan, Rash Dashan in Ethiopia. Then we have the Magrita in Uganda and Congo. We have Antanbakal in Morocco. So that is just part of the extended. You can as well go through them and you'll be able to understand. You can also log in to our YouTube and to our Facebook channels. You are going to get the notes in abundance. So rivers. I'll have to define what a river is, and I'll give you a broad explanation about the rivers. Then you'll have to understand what a river is. My dear learners, a river is a stream of water that flows across the country. A river is a stream of water that flows across the country. That is what we call a river. Maybe let us see what this river is. I've said that a river is a stream of water that flows across the country. Then this river can start at any point, but that point must be either a plateau, a highland, or a high areas. So rivers mostly start within the forest, which are planted forest or natural forest, but majorly natural. 2, rivers can originate from plateaus. 3, rivers can originate from highlands. 4, rivers can originate from the hills. And of course, they flow across the country. So the rivers has different branch. We have the first part of the river is called the young stage, which forms the tributaries. And once the 2 main tributaries joining the main river, they form what you call a confluence. So a confluence is when the small streams of water joins the main river. At that part, it forms what you call a confluence. Then as it goes, it is the middle part where we have the erosion. Then the erosion, we can find at that part the features being formed, the Oxbow Lakes. Then as it goes and it enters, it can end us into a sea or an ocean or a lake as well. So as it enters into a lake or as it diminishes, it forms what we call a delta or an estuary. So at the mouth of the river, what are the 2 features found? It can either form an estuary with 1 branch, then it can as well form a delta with the 2 branch or more. Then at the beginning, it forms the tributaries, which are the small channels. Then as the small channels join the main one, it forms a confluence. So there are major rivers in Africa. We have River Congo, which has many tributaries. It passes in wet areas. It carries high volume of water. And of course, it originates from Katanga Plateau. Then we have Nile River. The Nile River, it is one of the longest river, and it runs all the way from Lake Victoria, Antbara part, or the Lake Victoria or Lake Tana in Ethiopia. Then it goes all the way to Mediterranean Sea. Then we have also, and it goes to Mediterranean on the other part of the Northern Africa. So we also have another one which is called the River Volta. We have another one which is called River Gambia. We have River Senegal. We have Shebeli. We have Juba. Shebeli and Juba are the only permanent rivers in Somalia. Somali are the people. Somalia is a country. So we also have other rivers in Kenya here. We have River Sio, Nzoia, Yala. We have other rivers. We have many rivers that we can as well mention them in abundance. I can also give you this. You can come up with your own acronym, own mnemonics, or you can compose a songs of the river. I mostly advise my learners, practice makes perfect. Once you keep on practicing, you'll understand this one better. I wish I could give you mine, but maybe you are going to copy. But you have the Sio, Zoya, Yala, Nyando, Sondu, Migusi, Mara, and all that. I can form mine. I have already formed, and of course, I'll share with you on my Facebook channel or the KUTV Elimu Live, and you're going to access all of them. So keep on watching, keep on viewing, and keep on tuning to KUTV Elimu Live. You are going to benefit much. Keep on bringing your questions. As it stream in, I'll have to attend to the question effectively, and of course, you are going to face the exam with full force of boldness. So let me further explain about this. Now, major rivers include Nile, Congo, Niger, Zambezi, Benue, Orange, Limpopo, Volta, and Senegal. Now, River Nile is the longest in Africa. I said that. Rivers forms delta, and a very good delta, or the largest delta, it is what you call the Niger Delta. The Nile also form a delta. We have River Tana is the longest river in Kenya here. Then we have followed by River Athi. I want to tell you something about this River Athi. River Athi has three names. It has Athi, Sabaki, and Galana. Then the longest river in Kenya, it's River Tana. It has a delta. Then the longest river in Africa is River Nile, followed by River Congo. It's the longest river in West Africa, but the second longest river in Africa at large. Then, when it comes to the South Africa, we have River Zambezi. We have River Limpopo. We have River Orange. But now the longest river is River Orange, which is the longest river in South Africa. It's mainly found in the southern part of Africa, and specifically in South Africa. So River Zambezi has a project, River Nile has a project, River Tana has a project, and most of the projects which are established there are the hydroelectric power to provide electricity within. That is, most of the rivers, they have that project. Now, let us maybe see when I try to draw it. Let me draw the map of Africa so that you can be able to understand what I'm trying to explain here. So I'll sketch the map of Africa. This is just a sketch, don't worry. This is what just a sketch. So that one, we have, I said Shebele and Juba, they are majorly the permanent rivers in Somalia, Shebele and Juba. Then we have Zambezi here, Zambezi, we have Limpopo, and we have Orange. So Zambezi, Limpopo, and Orange, they are the rivers which are found in the southern part, and the longest I said is River Orange. So most of these rivers, especially Zambezi, they originate from the Drakensberg. Drakensberg. Then we have River Congo, which originate from a place called the Katanga Plateau, River Congo. So this River Congo, you'll find we have also River Niger. We have River Niger here. We have River Niger. Then we have River Volta. So this river, we have the upper Niger and we have the Benue. Those are the major tributaries. The upper Niger and the Benue have also drawn the two tributaries. The first tributary, I've drawn the first tributary and the second tributary. So we have these ones. Ubangi and Kasai are the main tributaries of River Congo. Ubangi and Kasai. Maybe let me use number 4, and we have number 5. Then we have River Volta. Then we also have River Senegal here. We have River Gambia here. So all those ones are the rivers which is found in Africa. So we have River Nile, which originate from this part, which is within the Red Sea and Mediterranean. It goes all the way to this part in Lake Victoria. So this is the part marked maybe Q is Lake Victoria, and then another branch extends into Ethiopia. So the main source of River Nile, it's Lake Victoria. Then we have also Lake Tana. The tributaries, it's the White Nile, the Blue Nile. We have also the Antibara. So those are the tributaries of the River Nile. It's the longest river in Africa, and it mostly passes in the desert because we have the Sahara Desert, which is found in Egypt. Then where does it originate? Originate from the lower part, and it drains into originate from the higher part, and it drains into the lower part. So that is a brief explanation about what a river is, and a river can as well act as the political boundary. When there are two countries, a river can divide. So a river provide water for us. A river can as well provide other things, which is farming, water for irrigation, and other economic activities. Most of the rivers in Africa are not navigable. Why? Because they are mainly, maybe let me explain this. Learners, most of the rivers in Africa are not navigable. Why? Because most of the rivers are faced with one major challenge, and that major challenge is water hyacinth, cataracts, and rapids. So that is pond weeds. Most of the rivers has water hyacinth, cataracts, and rapids, which you can as well call it waterfalls. So these falls, rapids, cataracts, and water hyacinths, they are major effects that interferes with the navigability within the rivers. So most of the rivers are not navigable. Reason is that one. Don't talk about the crocodile issue. Maybe there are so many crocodiles. Don't talk about maybe they are shallow. Don't talk about maybe they flow with a lot of speed. Don't talk about they don't have the inlet and outlet. Don't talk about they are salty. Don't talk about maybe they have the other projects being established. Those ones can be some of the reasons, but the main reason is waterfalls, cataracts, rapids, and water hyacinth in one. So as well, if you find the waterfalls and cataracts is just one. Cataracts are just small channels that forms waterfalls. Then one of the major reasons or one of the major effects that affect Lake Victoria is water hyacinth. That is why fishing is not there. So navigable, it's the human project which is being established there. The human project can be fishing, and it prevents that. So of course you can now have a conclusive idea that most of the rivers are not navigable. Reasons of the one that I've given out. Then there is also another thing that you also need to understand, that River Congo is the only river that is navigable at the largest part of it is course. Most of the rivers are not navigable. But which river is navigable majorly? It's River Congo. Why? It carries large volume of water. That is one. And the rivers that flows with a lot of speeds is not good for navigability, because as well it can lead to what you call accidents. Then I want to move on and explain further about swamps, unless if you have a question on the river, but majorly I've tried to explain the major parts. On the swamp, they are areas with soft or areas which is covered with reeds. They are majorly areas which is covered with reeds or water-lodged areas. Then those swamps are as follow. One, examples, we have the Okavango and Malkamar in Botswana. We have the Sudi in southern part of Africa, and along River Nile we have the vegetation which is called the Sud vegetation. And the main types of vegetation that is found in the swamp is called the reeds. Then we have the Lorian swamps, which is found in Kenya. Then we have the lakes. I'll take you through the lakes so that you can understand. There is something which I want you to understand about the lakes and the formation. Lakes are hollow depression or shallow, mostly are hollow depressions on the surface of the earth, and they are filled with water. We have the natural and we have the artificial lakes. Now, when you talk about the natural and artificial, natural, they occur naturally, but artificial, they are man-made. Examples of natural: Tanganyika, Malawi, Chad, Benguelu. Lake Victoria is the second largest in the world. The second largest natural freshwater lake is Lake Victoria. But the largest freshwater lake in Kenya is Lake Turkana. Some of these facts, you need to understand them better. It really confuses learners. Maybe let me try to give you this. That among the lakes, There are those lakes which are natural, and there are those lakes which are artificial. Natural lakes are the lakes which occur naturally and they were created by God. Then artificial ones, they are mostly called man-made or human-made. The reason why we don't use the word man-made, we don't want to be maybe biased to the other gender. We use the word human-made, so all gender are factored in. So another thing that you also need to understand, that the main or the largest, let me use the word largest, the largest natural fresh water lake in Africa is called Lake Victoria. And the second largest natural freshwater lake in the world is Lake Victoria. Then Lake Victoria is not the largest in Kenya. Why? Because it's shared among the three countries, Tanzania, Uganda, and another one is Kenya. Then among those ones, Kenya has the smallest portion. That is why it cannot be the largest. Then Lake Turkana, which is found on top there, it is one of the largest fresh water lake in Kenya. Let me give you a very vivid example so that you can be able to understand this. Let me draw here. I want to draw so that you can be able to get, let me draw the map of Kenya. I'll just draw within these my notes. Don't worry about my diagram. So this one is Mount Kilimanjaro, this one is Mount Elgon, this one is Lake Turkana is there, then this one of course is Lake Victoria. So this one, maybe let me give you the river. This one is River Takwel, and this one is River Kerio. Then we have another one, River Suguta. Then we have River Omo. River Omo, it's found on the Ethiopian side. So this one is River Takwel. I'll just use the word T. Then this one is River Kerio. I'll use the word K. Then we have Lake Victoria. Then it's dividing into that. So you'll find that this part, the largest portion, of course, we have the other part in Uganda, and we have the other part in Tanzania. So the smallest portion is found in Kenya. That is why Lake Victoria cannot be the largest, although it's the leading producer of what you call the tilapia. So the leading producer of tilapia fish is Lake Victoria, and the leading producer of Nile perch is Lake Turkana. Now, that is what we mean by being the largest. So at any given time, don't mention Lake Victoria to be the largest in Kenya. Maybe talk about Africa, talk about the world. That one I agree with you. So let us proceed on and maybe conclude with this part about the formation of lakes. That is my last bit of the formation. In the next 5 minutes, I'll be concluding. So if you have a pen and a piece of paper, please take note of this, because I'll be finishing with the formation of lakes. So first, lakes are formed in different parts. We have erosion, the earth movement, deposition, volcanic action, and human activities. I repeat, the earth are formed through different processes. We have erosion, earth movement, deposition, volcanic actions, and we have the human activities. Now, maybe I'll talk about the erosion. We have two types of erosion. We have the glacial action, which is called the erosion of ice. Maybe there are those mountains whom their ice accumulates on top. So you'll find that they will have to erode downwards. When they erode, at times they block the channels of the river, or they are formed on the sides, forming what you call a lake. Such like lakes, they have a specific name, and they are called Tan's Lake. A very good example is the Teleki Lake. So there is also other formations which are caused by wind, just under erosion. So this wind, when the wind moves, it mostly takes or erodes the layer of the earth then it leaves a depression. After a period of time, that depression is filled with water, and in turns, you are going to find that a lake is created. Such lakes are mostly found in the desert, especially in the Kalahari part of the desert, the Kalahari part of the country, which is found in Botswana. You can find them in Egypt. The Bakwet and the Qatar depressions are very good examples of such lakes which are formed under the erosion activity. So now, I'll have to take you back. You have understand the two types of erosion. Then we have the earth movement. The earth movement, we have different, the movement of the earth. We have the faulting, and that is where the rocks tends to break or tends to twist against each other. When they twist against each other, they'll have to form what you call a depression. And in such depressions, we have the water which is collected inside. When the water is collected inside, a lake can be created. Examples of such lakes are majorly found within the Rift Valley. You can have the Turkana, the Baringo, the Bogoria, Elementaita, Magadi, Edward, George, Malawi, Albert, and all those lakes. Maybe let me just shortly, in the next few minutes, sketch here the map of Kenya. The map of Kenya. The map of Kenya. So that one, you'll find that there are so many lakes which are arranged on the layers from all these ones. Such lakes were formed through the process called what? The process called human activity, or earth activity. Sorry, not human, but earth activity. So they are formed through faulting, because there are two. We have the earth activity. One is faulting, and such lakes are mostly found in the Rift Valley. And I've said, you can use the word, I mostly advise my learners to form some of the things that will make them to remember better. The two Baringo boys never eat meat. So Turkana, the two Baringo, Turkana, Bogoria, Baringo, Naivasha, Nakuru, Elementaita, Magadi, and all that as it goes. The two Baringo boys never eat meat. So that one is a good acronym. You can as well follow and form yours. So there is also the part which I like to talk about on this volcanic deposition. Depositions are the lakes which are formed through the oxbow lakes. In short, we call them oxbow lakes. Oxbow lakes. The oxbow lakes, they are formed along the river, and these are examples of the oxbow. You can find these ones and get such like thing. So if you have this one is a meander, but this is an oxbow. So these are very good example of oxbow lake. We have the Kanyaboli, we have the Utanje, we have such like the Shakabambo. So those are examples of the oxbow lakes. So I hope I'm going to get time and dig deeper on the formations of the lakes. So I don't want to give you a lot of things which you might not be able to grasp at the moment. So you are going to go through the erosion, you are going to go through the earth movement, the depositions, the volcanic action, and the human activities. But on the volcanic actions, just shortly, let me give you this diagram so that you can understand the, sorry, let me rub this one. So on the volcanic action, let me give you this. Volcanic action, this is a volcanic mountain. I'll draw a volcanic mountain. We assume that this is a volcanic mountain. Then at this part, it is called the middle part, which is called the vent. And then we have the magma. And then we have what you call the dike on the sides. On the sides, we have the dike. Here we have the magma, M. Here we have the dike. Then here we have the subsidiary cone. They are also called the parasitic cone. You can also call the secondary cone, or you can call the conelet. Then on top here, my learners, you can call the crater here. So this is a volcanic, but my main interest is not on that. My main interest is to give you how is this volcanic activity. I just conclude on this, I'll give you on this part. I'll draw this so that I'll draw that volcanic mountain. Good, there you are. Then up here, it is the crater. The crater, it is just a hole or a hollow or a small depression that is created after the volcanic activity or after an eruption of volcanic mountain. So on this part, you are going to find out that once it has erupted, water is going to be created at this part, the part marked X. Water can be created here. Once the water is created, you are going to find out that it forms a small saucer-like. Most of them are small in size. When that one occurs, it creates what you call volcanic activity. So examples of volcanic activity can lead to a volcanic mountain. One, we have Shala, we have Chala, we have Paradise, we have Nyos, we have Winam, we have Panjam, and we have Visoke. I hope, and the largest volcanic lake, a lake which is formed through the volcanic action, which are called the crater lakes. So in other words, the largest crater lake in Africa is called Shala in Ethiopia. I can give you this as I conclude. You can copy also mine. We have, I said Shala, Chala, Paradise, Nyos, Winam, Panjam, Katwe, Visoke. We have Shala, Chala, Paradise, and Nyos. Shala, Chala, Paradise, and Nyos. Katwe, Ngozi, Busutwi, Panjam, and Winam are the crater lakes in Africa. Shala, Chala, Paradise, and Nyos. Shala, Chala, Paradise, and Nyos. Katwe, Ngozi, Busutwi, Panjam, and Winam are the crater lakes in Africa. Visoke, Visoke. So if you have a book, you can refer the spelling and you can also check where are they found specifically. I said Shala is the largest lake in Africa and is found in Ethiopia together with Chala in Kenya. So if you are happy and you know, clap your hands. If you are happy and you know, clap your hands. If you are happy and you know, and you really want to show, if you are happy and you know, clap your hands. Shala, Chala, Paradise, and Nyos. Shala, Chala, Paradise, and Nyos. Katwe, Ngozi, Busutwi, Panjam, and Winam are the crater lakes in Africa. Maybe as I conclude, maybe let me just give you where the lakes. They are there. Crater lakes. Crater lakes. Shala, Chala, Paradise, and Nyos. Although I have not arranged according to my song. Shala, Chala, Paradise, and Nyos. Katwe, Ngozi, Busutwi, Panjam, and Winam are the crater lakes in Africa. Visoke. You can also add Visoke there. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for being with me. And thank you for tuning in to KUTV. I repeat, thank you for tuning in for KUTV. Thank you for staying for Elimu Live. And thank you for attending my lesson. And thank you for sending your views and also for the questions. Bye-bye and God bless you. Have a nice day.